Should you still buy an old Porsche in today's world? Well, I'm here to break down whether it's actually worth spending your money on and if they're even still a good car by modern day standards. Welcome back everyone. Today I'm realising how out of control my car obsession is really getting, because behind me, as you can see, I've just bought another Porsche, but this time it's not a Cayman, it's a 2003 911 Carrera. And today I'd like to break down all of the details so you can make an informed decision on if you want to buy one and what to look out for. Now we're going to get into the driving very shortly, but to first address the elephant in the room, this 911 is a 996 generation, and you can tell that by the blob style headlight design, which makes them distinctly different from every other 911 generation having the traditional rounded headlights. Now, being a 996, it has a few things you should be aware of when it comes to maintenance. Now, I'm sure some of you have heard before, but for those who haven't, these cars suffer from something called bore scoring and IMS bearing failures. Now, to go into detail on what these things are for people who may not know, first of all, bore scoring. This is the physical scratching or gouging of the cylinder walls. And this can happen due to engine internal materials breaking down and thermal stresses of the engine slightly warping over time, reducing tolerance between engine components, creating metal on metal contact. Now, a few key symptoms of bore scoring are a ticking or tapping noise while the engine's running. I'm sure there's lots of great videos you can find that sort of highlight this sound that you can go and check out. Small amounts of smoke on startup or heavy smoke during continuous driving would indicate a more severe problem. More soot build-up around one of the tailpipes could be an indicator as well. Excessive oil consumption is a big one. Anything more than half a litre every 1,000 miles or so indicates there is a problem somewhere for sure. And oil contamination with microscopic debris, although this could be harder to pinpoint and check yourselves. The best way to check to see if your engine has bore scoring would be take it to an independent specialist who can bore scope the engine, meaning they put a camera down the cylinder walls to see if you have any signs of wear internally. Now, have I had this done? No, because I'm stupid and impulsive, but we've already addressed that. Unfortunately, the only permanent fix for bore scoring is a full engine rebuild where specialists will upgrade the cylinder liners to better materials to prevent future bore scoring. However, these rebuilds can cost upwards of £10,000. Now anyway, moving on to the IMS bearing. So explaining the IMS, or the intermediate shaft, is basically an additional shaft that is driven directly off the crankshaft. Now the timing chain is driven off of the intermediate shaft instead of the crankshaft, like in most conventional other engines. Now the intermediate shaft has bearings either side to allow it to spin, of course, and one side is an oil-fed bearing and the other side is a sealed grease bearing. The grease inside can get washed out from hot oil from inside the engine, causing it to degrade over time and fail. And even if cars aren't driven and they're left sitting there, moisture can get into these bearings and also degrade them over time, causing them to fail. And when these bearings do fail, it has a catastrophic effect, throwing the whole timing of your engine out. And then unfortunately, valves and pistons become one and your engine is completely destroyed. Now, there's lots of debate on percentages of cars that actually do fail completely, but what's for sure is there is no way to really tell if the bearing is failing or is going to fail without stripping off the gearbox and inspecting the bearing visually. Now, the best option for complete peace of mind would be to have the IMS bearing replaced with an upgraded unit at a specialist. Now, both of these issues I've mentioned, the bore scoring and the IMS, don't affect just 996 911s. They can affect any water-cooled Porsche flat sixes from 1997 to 2009 that have the M96 and M97 engines. And this includes Caymans, Boxsters, and later 997.1 911s as well. In 2009, they introduced a completely new engine generation that rectified these issues. Now we've covered the downsides, let's get into the positives. Now, in today's age, we're blessed with some amazing technology and lots of great, powerful cars at great prices. But is it still worth getting an old Porsche compared to a modern day performance car? Now, it completely depends on what you're after. Because if you're after the most powerful car you can buy for £15,000, then this probably isn't for you. But if you want classic elegance and beautiful engineering and an unmistakable sound of a flat six engine behind you, then this is for you. Now, this 911 is a Carrera 2, meaning it's just rear-wheel drive compared to the Carrera 4's four-wheel drive. Now, the car makes around 320 horsepower from its 3.6 litre flat six engine, which isn't a lot by modern day standards, but due to its large displacement, it has loads of torque down low. Now, this car is also a 6-speed manual vehicle, which is definitely the one to go for compared to the dated Tiptronic automatic versions. Now, from my experience so far, this car is an absolute pleasure to drive. I really thought it would show its age more when it came to the actual driving, but it doesn't. It handles amazingly still. It feels so smooth. It doesn't feel like anything is being stressed on the car. It just does everything with such ease. And even at 23 years old, it still feels so tight on the road. I do have to say, you can definitely feel the extra weight in this compared to the Cayman. And a big effect of that probably is due to the 911s having their engine placement behind the rear axle, in the rear of the car, compared to the Cayman's mid-engine layout. And this has a big effect on the overall handling of the car as well. But there is something that you do get in this that you don't get in the Caymans. And that is rear seats. Now, I know that may sound very superficial to have 4 seats in a car like this, and I think many 911 owners rarely use their rear seats, but I have to say, me personally, I love having that extra practicality. Now, there are a few things that I'm still a bit unsure about the car, but I have to say, all in all, it's pleasantly surprised me more than I would have thought. I think if you have £15,000 to £20,000 and are looking for a classic sports car, what more could you really ask for? This is so different from your basic M-Power BMWs, AMG Mercedes, and cool hot hatches as well. This just feels a bit more special. Once again, if you know me, I'll end with, I'm not sure exactly how long this car will stay with me, but I'm extremely grateful to have had the chance to own it and experience it for myself. And if you guys would like to see any more content with this car, be sure to let me know what down in the comments below. And once again, if you're still here in the video, I appreciate you very much. Thanks once again for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.